Good evening. Salam Malaysia Madani. We'd like to welcome viewers on TV1 to Malaysia Tonight with me, Muhammad Amin Carlos. Well, UMNO President Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has called on voters to make a wise choice in the upcoming state elections and not fall for the opposition's political ploy. Now, the Deputy Prime Minister and Barisan Nasional or BN chairman said, unlike the opposition, BN was more focused on developments for the well-being of the people.
Mereka mahu cita rasa dan denyut nadi mereka turut diambil keperhatian oleh parti yang akan memerintah nanti. Jadi dalam perkara ini Barisan Nasional khususnya UMNO akan memperkirakan ini sebagai salah satu elemen penting untuk meraih kemenangan di Dewan Undangan Negeri itu.
He said this at the Korban Perdana and People's Feast Jamuan Rakyat program at Pantai Penunjuk, Kijal in Kemaman today. Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid said voters, particularly those in Terengganu, can no longer fall for lies and want BN to win back the state, which he described as a swing state besides Kedah. According to Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid, all component parties in the unity government must put aside their differences and jealousies and work together once the Election Commission, the EC, sounded the war drum. Well, the heat is on for the 6 state elections as Negeri Sembilan became the last state to dissolve its state legislative assembly today. On Wednesday, State Election Commission Director Muhammad Haikal Kamarudin received a notice of the dissolution of the state assembly from its secretary Muhammad Amin Ludin to make way for the state polls to be held. Well, starting today, Negeri Sembilan will be administered by a caretaker government until a new government is formed after the polls. Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Aminuddin Harun announced the State Assembly dissolution date after receiving the consent of Yang di-Pertuan Besar Negeri Sembilan Tuanku Mukriz Ibni Almarhum Tuanku Munawir. Negeri Sembilan is also the only state that has fully utilised the 5-year mandate for its 14th State Legislative Assembly. Among the 6 states facing the election, Kelantan was the first to dissolve its state assembly, followed by Selangor, Pulau Pinang, Kedah and Terengganu. The first sitting of the Negeri Sembilan State Assembly was held on 1st July 2018 after the 14th General Election, or GE14, on 9th May that year. The upcoming state election will be a significant test of the integrated strength of Pakatan Harapan and Barisan Nasional as they work together to defend the state. Well, the Ministry of Education, the MOE, will provide full cooperation to the Election Commission, or EC, in conjunction with the upcoming state elections. Deputy Director General of Education, Professionalism Development Sector, Ministry of Education Malaysia, Safruddin Ali Hussein, stated that all personnel, including teachers, are ready to be assigned for duty.
Bila-bila masa saja boleh dia. Kerana Kementerian Pendidikan telah dimaklumkan dan Kementerian Pendidikan telah ada senarai-senarai sekolah-sekolah yang terlibat itu. Jadi cikgu rasa tidak ada masalah untuk kita memberi kerjasama untuk menjayakan PRN kali ini, insyaAllah.
Shafruddin was met by RTM after officiating the Silver Jubilee celebration of SMK Agama Durian Guling, Marang and its gallery. Well, the case of a Year 1 student being locked in an iron cage at a school in Rembau, Negeri Sembilan that went viral on social media has been resolved. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said that the matter had been resolved amicably between the school and the parents of the 7-year-old boy during a meeting at the Negeri Sembilan Education Department.
Alhamdulillah, kes ini telah pun selesai di peringkat Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sembilan dan juga sudah ada penyelesaian yang baik di antara sekolah dan juga ibu bapa. Jadi sebagaimana yang saya sebut sebelum ini, maknanya kes-kes ini telah diuruskan dengan baik di peringkat Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri. Jadi kita anggap telah selesai.
She said this to reporters when met after the Aidil Adha sacrificial program at Masjid Jamik Al-Huda, Sungai Bakau, Nibong Tebal today. The issue surfaced when a man's tweet and a screenshot of a WhatsApp group conversation believed to be between a teacher and the student's father went viral on Twitter. Elaborating on the case, Fadlina, Nibong Tebal Member of Parliament, said the Negeri Sembilan Education Department also conducted an investigation into the case. Coming up next, MOT reviewing road tax structure for electric vehicles.
Perkembangan kognitif dan pertumbuhan fizikal kanak-kanak sihat yang optimum bertitik tolak dari 1000 hari pertama kehidupan.
Well, the Ministry of Transport, the MOT, is currently reviewing the road tax rate structure for electric vehicles, also known as EVs. Well, according to Minister Anthony Loke, the decision to review the structure is aimed at making the road tax for EVs cheaper than internal combustion engine, or known as ICE vehicles, besides encouraging more people to use EVs. The MOT is part of the special EV task force chaired by the Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry, Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz. And at the recent meeting a few days ago, MOT had also presented a proposal on how to support the EV industry. Well, among the measures to be taken by the MOT is reviewing the road tax structure for EVs. Well, under the Road Transport Department Act, there is a road tax calculation for EVs, and according to the current calculation, the road tax for EVs is more expensive than for conventional cars. Well, met today, Loke said road tax for EVs is currently free until end of 2025, but the ministry noted the feedback from EV users who wanted to know the road tax rates for EVs after that period. Well, it said the road tax rates for EVs will be finalized this year. An allocation of more than 20 million ringgit has been approved for the state of Perak through the Sentuhan Kasih program of the Local Government Development Ministry, or KPKT. Its Minister, Ngako Ming, stated that the allocation will cover the upgrading of drainage systems and the restoration of apartment buildings in the Ipoh area. The allocation, he said, also includes the construction of a car park complex worth 13.83 million ringgit.
Pembangunan ini merangkumi dari tempat letak kereta di Ipoh Old Town ke rumah pangsa SB Flat, rumah pangsa Sri Kepayang, ketiga di Fair Park, dan juga tidak lupa juga Kinta Heights, rumah pangsa Kinta Heights. Ada lagi permohonan daripada MBI untuk cat baru dan lain-lain. KPKT akan sentiasa mempertimbangkan.
He said this in a media briefing held during his official visit to Ipoh. And also present was the mayor of Ipoh, Dato' Rumaizi Baharian. Nga said the allocation, approved through the Sentuhan Kasih program of the KPKT, is proof of the close cooperation between the state and federal governments in solving people's issues. On another matter, the issue over the compound issued against a female non-Muslim trader for allegedly dressing immodestly in Kelantan has been resolved and should not be further played up by any party. Nga said this was because the compound was cancelled following a discussion between the Director General of the Local Government Department and the Kota Baru Municipal Council. The minister added that there was also no issue of the federal government intervening in local government affairs as claimed by some parties. Well, the Finance Ministry, the MOF, has reminded beneficiaries of the E-Belia Rahmah Aid program not to put themselves at risk of falling prey to scams by attempting to cash out the 200 ringgit credit received. Now, the MOF acknowledged that there have been cases of recipients being scammed after they opted to use cash-out services offered on social media platforms in return for cash via fund transfer. Now, the MOF explained that recipients do not have to cash out their E-Belia Rahmah credit, which puts them at huge risk of being scammed, as the funds can be used at over 1.7 million businesses nationwide and to pay for services and online purchases through Do It Now. Well, according to the ministry, by cashing out the funds, recipients and merchants alike had broken the terms and conditions set for the program that said, quote, the 200 ringgit is not to be cashed out or transferred peer-to-peer, unquote. Now, it said actions have been taken by participating e-wallet providers against individuals who misuse their e-merchant facilities to provide cash-out services, such as barring their account. The Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Ministry, or NRECC, will continue to implement various initiatives, including strict enforcement of relevant laws such as the National Forestry Act 1984 to enhance the conservation of forests in the country. Its Minister, Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad, said efforts would also be made to gazette forest areas, including the Central Forest Spine and environmentally sensitive areas. Now, the allocation for ecological fiscal transfer in 2023 will also be increased to 150 million ringgit, which is an increase of 150% since its implementation in 2019 towards enhancing the conservation of the country's forests. Nik Nazmi said in a statement in Putrajaya today that Malaysia could not be complacent and more efforts needed to be done to put an end to the loss of primary forests in the country. Regarding Malaysia's success in keeping the rate of primary forest loss at a low level, as stated in an international report, he said it was due to a number of initiatives, including strict enforcement and wider usage of the Malaysia Sustainable Palm Oil certification. The achievements by Malaysia were reported by the World Resources Institute's Global Forest Watch and the University of Maryland on global deforestation. Overall, he added, Malaysia reduced its primary forest loss by 57%, and as of 2022, placing the country fourth among the top 10 countries. Nik Nazmi said the ecological fiscal transfers for biodiversity conservation initiative, which is being institutionalized by the current government, and the proactive action of the various state governments in protecting their forests also contributed to Malaysia's success in keeping the rate of primary forest loss at a low level. Malaysia's trade performance continues to improve, driven by different investments, including domestic direct investments and foreign direct investments. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said the good performance benefited not only from the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP, but also from various types of agreement. Well, it said these agreements include multilateral agreements, free trade agreements or FTAs, and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Met after delivering a speech at the Australian Network's Leaders Summit 2023 in Kuala Lumpur. He said that a total of 18 FTAs have been signed so far. Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said in his keynote address that since helming MITI, Malaysia's trade and investment missions have secured committed investments from 4 countries worth $49 billion, which is 230 billion ringgit. Now, the 4 countries are Singapore, South Korea, China and Japan. Well, the Unity Government and Sarawak have agreed to establish a special task force to ensure a smooth transition process for the takeover of Mas Wings. Sarawak Minister of Transport, Dato Sri Lee Kim Shin, stated that this matter was agreed upon during a meeting with Transport Minister Anthony Loke in Putrajaya yesterday. Well, the main objective of the meeting was to discuss the establishment of Sarawak Airline through the takeover of Mas Wings. The Sarawak delegation, consisting of government officials, will actively participate in the special task force. It was also decided that a memorandum of understanding will be signed to initiate discussions and facilitate the takeover process. On 15 June, Sarawak's Chief Minister, Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng, stated that Sarawak has agreed in principle to take over Mas Wings, a wholly owned subsidiary of Malaysia Airlines. Abang Johari said Mas Wings, which currently only operates in the interior region of Borneo, would be given a new lease of life with the addition of flight destinations. On April 17th, Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim agreed in principle with the Sarawak government's proposal to establish a boutique airline. Still ahead, political parties in Cambodia launch campaigns for general election. Political parties in Cambodia began on Saturday a 3-week campaign for the general election scheduled to be held on 23rd July 2023. Now, 18 political parties will contest in the forthcoming election for the 125-seat National Assembly, which will see more than 9.7 million people cast their ballots, according to the National Election Committee, which is the NEC. Now, Cambodian Prime Minister Samdech Techo Hun Sen, president of the ruling Cambodian People's Party, or CPP, attended a rally held at the Diamond Island in capital Phnom Penh. Addressing the rally, Hun Sen said the forthcoming election is a historical and important political event for the country and that the CPP has approved its support for his re-election. Hun Sen said the party's political program for 2023-2028 was designed to ensure the protection and peace of sustainability of the nation. He also promised the expansion of free health care for vulnerable people and free vocational and technical training for young people from poor and vulnerable families. The CPP has ruled the Southeast Asian country since 1979. In the last general election in 2018, the CPP won all 125 seats in the National Assembly. The election campaign will last until 21st July. Well, a bus crashed and burst into flames, killing at least 25 people and injuring 8 in India's western state of Maharashtra in the early hours of Saturday. Now, local police said the bus crashed into a road divider at around 1:35 a.m. on an expressway, rupturing the vehicle's diesel tank and sparking a fire, adding that most of the victims were unable to escape the burning vehicle. Now, officials suspect the driver, who is among the survivors, could have fallen asleep at the wheel. The bus was traveling at a high speed when it hit a pole and then a wall on the highway. Now, due to its impact, the 2 front tires came off and the diesel tank of the bus exploded, following which the bus caught fire. 25 people were killed and 8 were injured. Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said in a post on Twitter. The state's Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Prime Minister Narendra Modi posted separate tweets expressing sorrow and said they would pay support to each victim's family, amounting to 700,000 Indian rupees. Shinde was quoted as saying by NDTV that the bodies were charred beyond recognition and DNA testing could be employed to identify the victims.
Kecemasan, boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over.
Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembika, Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here. Over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
Coming up in sports, FAM to set Asian Cup target soon. Stay with us. Well, while national coach Kim Pan-gon has set a second-round target for next year's Asian Cup in Qatar, the FAM, or rather the FA of Malaysia, does not want to commit just yet. Well, Malaysia are in Group E with South Korea, Jordan and Bahrain in the Asian Cup in Doha from the 15th to the 25th of January. FAM Secretary-General Nur Azman Rahman said it is normal for coaches to set high targets.
Setiap jurulatih memang dia bukan setakat untuk lepas, dia akan target tinggi untuk layak ke peringkat kedua, peringkat round 16. Tapi itu biar nanti bila last besok kalau ada ni ada umumkan pemain, nanti dia akan jelas ke mana dia punya nanti target. Itu mungkin dia punya lah. Tapi of course kalau jurulatih memang dia nak akan pergi ke round 16, nak pergi terus peringkat yang tertinggi.
Nur Azman said this after the FAM Congress in Petaling Jaya today. FAM also did not want to disclose Malaysia's opponents for friendly matches during the FIFA window from 4th to the 12th of September. It is understood that FAM have approached China and Egypt for possible friendly matches in September. Meanwhile, the Malaysia Aviation Group, or MAG, has extended its partnership with FAM for another 3 years. Well, Youth Singles Coaching Director Dato Misbun Siddiq will try to offer more balanced opportunities to his charges in the team event at the Asian Junior Badminton Championships in Yogyakarta, Indonesia from 7th to the 16th of July. Dato Misbun said the lackluster performance of the country's young shuttlers at the 2022 BWF World Junior Championships in Santander, Spain last October gave him useful experience, especially when it came to the dependence on certain players. He said during the World Junior, most of the players in the team event did not play singles event except for Justin Ho, as the national team was against top countries and played many rounds. There were players who don't play team event, he said, where the squad was stuck. Met recently, Dato Misbun said this time around, the coaching team is preparing the players so that they can be ready, adding that they would want to balance the singles players so that they can play any battle in the team event. Out of the total of 6 team event matches, including 3 group events at the World Junior Championships, Justin played 5 times, while women's singles player Siti Nur Shuhaini Azman played 4 times. Well, for the first time ever, no national player qualified for the quarterfinals of the singles event at the World Junior Championships, and the national team only finished 9th in the mixed team event. This was the second time in a row that Malaysia returned empty-handed after the 2019 edition in Kazan, Russia. Although the players are seen to be ready to take on the task in Indonesia, Dato Misbun hopes that the national squad will not underestimate other challengers in Group C, comprising India, Bangladesh and Hong Kong. Well, eyeing a 3rd Olympics medal at next year's Paris Games, Indian badminton ace PV Sindhu has requested the Sports Authority of India and Badminton Association of India to assign former All-England champion Hafiz Hashim as her coach until the 2024 Olympics. Well, she has sent a letter to the authorities on Monday asking the Malaysian to be appointed as her coach under the Target Olympic Podium Scheme. The 2-time Olympic medalist has been training under the former All-England champion for the past 2 weeks in Hyderabad. She started training under Hafiz after returning from the Indonesia Open in mid-June. Hafiz will also travel with her to the Korea Open and Japan Open in July. A 5-time World Championship medalist, Sidhu was out of action for almost 6 months after winning the Commonwealth Games gold in Birmingham last year due to a stress fracture in her left foot. Her return to the circuit under coach Vidhi Chaudhary has not been very fruitful, exiting as many as 7 tournaments in the first couple of rounds. Her only decent runs came at the Spain Masters, where she reached the final, and Malaysia Masters, where she lost in the semi-finals. Over in squash, well, second seeds Ivan Yuan and Rachel Arnold's hopes of winning the inaugural Asian mixed doubles squash tournament were dashed by India's Harindapal Singh Sandhu and Deepika Pallikal on Friday. Now, the Malaysian duo lost to the 3rd seeds 11-10, 11-8 in the final at the Hangzhou Olympic Sports Centre. In the first set, Harinda and Deepika led 9-6, but Ivan and Rachel fought back to tie the score 10-all. But the Malaysians paid the price for failing to retrieve a shot. Ivan and Rachel fought hard in the second set and were level at 6-all, but Harinda's brilliance made the difference. In the bronze playoff, Malaysia's top seeds Shafiq Kamal and Aifa Azman defeated the Indian duo of Abhay Singh and Anahat Singh 11-8, 11-10. Malaysia's Adin Idraki and Aina Amani lost to Harinda and Deepika in the quarterfinals. The Squash Rackets Association of Malaysia is using the tournament to select 2 pairs for the mixed doubles event in the Hangzhou Asian Games in September. Over in tennis, Christopher Eubanks continued his breakthrough season in dramatic fashion on Friday when he saved 5 match points to reach his maiden ATP Tour final at the Mallorca Championships. Now, the 27-year-old survived a 3-setter thriller against Lloyd Harris 4-6, 6-3, 7-6 after 2 hours and 18 minutes. Eubanks dug out of a love 40 hole while serving at 4-5 in the decider and saved 2 more match points in the final set tie break. The former Georgia Tech University standout has soared 27 places to number 50 in the Pepperstone ATP Live rankings this week, setting up for a new career high. A quarter-finalist at this year's ATP Masters 1000 event in Miami, Eubanks is enjoying his career best run on the Spanish island. Eubanks will next meet 4th seed Adrian Mannarino in the ATP 250 final after the Frenchman closed Friday's play on Mallorca's centre court with a 7-6, 6-4 win against Germany's Yannick Hafmann. Mannarino improved to 12-9 in ATP Tour semifinals to continue his bid for a third tour-level title. His previous triumphs came in the Netherlands in 2019 and in Winston-Salem last season. The world number 43's victory denied Hafmann what would have been his third ATP Tour final and his first on grass. And after winning the opening tiebreak, Mannarino closed out the win by converting on the first breakpoint of the second set for either man. Well, world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz headlines the field at the 2023 Wimbledon Championships. It marks the first time since 2003 that a member of the Big Four, and they are Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray, is not the top seed at the prestigious tournament. Widely regarded as one of the best young players in the sport, Alcaraz is touted for tennis greatness and has enjoyed a great beginning to his young career. He has particularly made a rousing start to the ongoing season despite starting it belatedly at the Argentina Open. He opens his bid for a second Grand Slam title against French wildcard Jeremy Chardy. Last year's runner-up, Nick Kyrgios, who lost to 3-time defending champion Novak Djokovic, plays dangerous Belgian wildcard David Goffin in a standout first-round clash. Russian third seed Daniil Medvedev, a potential semi-final opponent for Alcaraz, returns to Wimbledon with a first round against British wildcard Arthur Ferry. In the women's draw, second seed Arina Sabalenka, who could not play last year because of Wimbledon's ban on Russian and Belarusian players following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, will open a campaign against Hungarian Panna Udvardi. Defending women's champion Elena Rybakina will face American Shelby Rogers in the opening round. And that's it from us this evening. In our top story, make wise choice at the polls. Don't fall for political ploy. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow on TV2. I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos, Malaysia Madani, Tekat Perpaduan, Penuhi Harapan. Have a pleasant evening.